Well, fans, welcome in to the Two Line Pass podcast post game show. Inexplicably, your Utah Hockey Club falls 5-4 against San Jose in overtime. It's just me tonight, and I wish I had Dustin and Ryan to help take the edge off because I I am at a complete loss. The San Jose Sharks come into this game winless. There are 8 teams in the NHL that are 4-4-1. There are 0 teams in the NHL that have lost to the San Jose Sharks until tonight. And the way it happened, if you you look at the shots and you look at the total, if you just look at the box score, you wouldn't be too surprised by this result. I mean, San Jose just absolutely dominating on the shot category, doubling up Utah 46-23 on the shot. So anybody who didn't watch the game, you come in and you're like, well, of course San Jose won. Like, look, I mean, it's obvious. How could they not? But it was not like that, guys. To recap the game, it was pretty much all Utah from start to finish. Dylan Guenther gets his 6th of the year halfway through the first period. Now, that first line, guys, has been changed up. So you had Clayton Keller, Dylan Guenther, Logan Cooley on line 1. And that was the offensive shakeup that Coach T wanted to do to reinvigorate the offense that has been struggling these past few games. And it worked, right? Dylan Guenther gets on the score sheet, and now Matthias Michelli moves to the second line with Barrett Hayton and Nick Schmaltz. So we predicted that Matthias Michelli would have a great game with a playmaker like Schmaltz and a big body Hayton to get in front of the net, and it worked. Matthias Michelli gets Utah up 2-0 with his first goal of the season. Nick Schmaltz gets his 9th assist on the season. So going into the second period, it's all Utah up 2-1. San Jose powers back, gets a goal. This one just a driving. Ingram got barreled over, not by the San Jose guy, but a great finish by San Jose. Okay, they pull within 1, but then a quick goal by Matthias Michelli. He gets his 2nd of the game and on the year. Then to end the second period, Mikhail Sergachev gets his first goal of the game, or of the season, and of the game. So now Utah's up 4-1 going to the third. Right, cruise control, guys. It's a 4-1, and it stays like that 4-1 for the next 15 minutes. And then in a 2-minute span, it's absolute disaster. Zetterlund gets a goal at 15:28, making it 4-2. San Jose pulls their goalie, and less than a minute later scores, making it 4-3. Now down by 1. They pull their goalie again and tie the game up with 3 minutes left to play. So now we're 4-4. We go into overtime. Now, overtime, it plays out very much like you've seen in the past, where Stenlin or somebody comes and takes the face-off, and then they will go trade for Nick Schmaltz, and you start with Schmaltz, Keller, and Sergachev. Well, it worked. They maintained possession. They get a great chance. Now, here's where it all falls apart. Sergachev and Keller managed to get off the ice. Nick Schmaltz, however, cannot get off the ice. He has a chance to get off the ice, and you guys know me, I love Nick Schmaltz. He has a chance to get off the ice, and he doesn't take it. You can see the guy, by assuming it was going to be Cooley, coming over the glass, or over the boards to change with him, but Schmaltz turns back through the neutral zone to get back on the defensive side. I think that was a mistake. I think Schmaltz should have gone into the to the box, because he can't get back faster than the fresh legs guy can. And you can see Nick Schmaltz is absolutely gassed and then gets beat. And then Kesselring has to take a hook to stop a goal. So now San Jose's on the power play, and they waste no time. Literally 10 seconds into their power play, they score the game-winning goal, and San Jose wins this 5-4 in overtime. A 2-minute span, San Jose scores 3 goals, and then they win it in overtime. Fans, we told you that this was the perfect opportunity for a bounce back game, right? That this was a slumping Utah team, and they needed to get their mojo back. And what better team to play than the winless San Jose Sharks? And then it all turns to crap. I mean, it just, I, I, I don't know. I maybe I got too complacent. Maybe we as fans got too complacent. With they say the 3 goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey, and we proved it. Utah proved it, and this was just pretty embarrassing. I think if you're looking for, there's no one person to blame. Connor Ingram stood on his head most of the game to keep Utah in this. We've talked about him basically being hung out to dry over and over and over, and the defensive system that Utah is employing seems to not be able to give him any help whatsoever. Rebounds going in, shooting lanes not being stopped. We actually, it's funny because for San Jose got 46 shots through, and Utah had more block shots, 17 of them, in fact, were blocked, and San Jose still got 46 through. Like, that's unacceptable. Like, if it wasn't San Jose, I mean, they would have put 10 up on us. Like, that's just embarrassing. And for Utah to only get 23 shots on the other end, sure, 4 of them went in, but I mean, 23 shots is just not enough. And the faceoffs, again, go in our favor, but what does it really matter if you can't translate to wins? Like, does it really matter if we win in the faceoff column, right? Does it really matter if Kevin Stenlund's leading the league in faceoff percentage, if in crucial moments he's not there to take the faceoffs or loses them and San Jose scores? No, that doesn't really matter. Penalty kill in regulation plays okay, but once again, another power play goal allowed. Only 2 games now Utah's played without allowing a power play goal. Just unacceptable kind of things. Again, getting out hit. There's no physicality in this game. You have Liam O'Brien starts a fight in the first period to try to get his team motivated. You understand that's his job, and that's okay that we want him to do that. It was a pretty piss poor fight, if we're being honest. If we really are honestly watching that fight, it was pretty bad. He's outmatched. He's got, like, the other guy's got 6 inches on him. I don't even know who the other guy is. I could only name 2 players on San Jose's roster. That's how much of a bunch of nobodies they are. And a bunch of nobodies just embarrassed Utah at home. That's the guy should be ashamed. Like, it just doesn't happen, right? There's a complete mental lapse, a complete lack of focus when it really matters. You got to play 60 full minutes. This is a rule through all sports, right? How many times have you said that in an NBA game or a football game, whatever the case may be? You have to finish the game. Hockey is 60 full minutes, and San Jose just proved that if you give a subpar effort for even 2 of those minutes, San Jose, the worst team in the league, will make you pay, because at the end of the day, these guys are professionals. I know I joke and say I can't name a single one, but the fact of the matter is they're NHL players. Okay. And even if they are the worst team in the league, they're still going to find ways to make you pay. And when Utah loses their focus like they did, San Jose is going to make them pay. Now, where do you go from here, fans? I'm not sure, right? Because we've seen coach change up the lines, right? I really like the lines to try to spur the offense. I like Matias Maccelli coming off of the 4th line and getting into that 2nd line. We all took the over on Maccelli's. I think it was 51 goals or 51 points. We said we'd take the over. Well, that was when Matias was projected to be a 2nd line guy to start. This is the first time he's been on the 2nd line. He's been languishing in the 4th line the entire season. And just now he gets on that 2nd line, gets 2 goals by going hard to the net and putting garbage goals away. So I think that's the first thing right? If you're looking for changes, here's what you got to do. You got to shoot the puck. You got to put pucks on net and give your guys opportunities to go hard to the net and put in those rebounds. That's just something we haven't seen. This Utah team does not take those kinds of shots, whether they're looking for too much of a quality shot or whatever the case may be, but they're just not shooting the puck enough. And if you don't put pucks in front of the net, you don't have any opportunity to get those rebounds and garbage goals. So Utah's got to continue to shoot. I don't think you don't continue to change up these lines, right? You've got something that works. You've seen that it works. That 2 minutes, that lapse notwithstanding, you know that these lines work. So okay, you got to stop changing the lines. Okay. Josh Stone, love you, man. He's going to the AHL. O'Brien, love you, man, but you got to either win your fights or be more productive. I wouldn't mind Carcone coming back in the lineup and being on that fourth line. But defensively is really where things got to step up. Again, you can't really point out one issue or problem. Now, I kind of throw our blue liners under the bus. You saw the offensive, the forwards not playing very good defense, especially on those goals. But our defenders, and I hate to say this, but Sergachev find himself out of position quite often, and he's proven himself to be very valuable on the offensive side, and he plays a lot of minutes, and maybe that's why, because he plays so many minutes that he's bound to be out of position just because of the sample size. He's got a larger sample size than any other blue liner on the team. And so, of course, he's going to unfortunately be the scapegoat to find himself out of position. But I do find him out of position more often on the goals that Utah's giving up. I find Sergachev to be out of position. But I think we just need to become maybe we can't become a more physical team at the snap of a hat. We're built on speed. We're just not converting that speed into significant gains out of the defensive zone. Through the neutral zone and into the offensive zone, we're great. We're just not that great about getting the puck out of our defensive zone. And every other team that's better than San Jose is going to make us pay way more than San Jose did. I don't know what type of messages are being sent in the locker room from the coaching staff, but to allow your guys to have a mental lapse like this is pretty inexcusable. So I think you have to take a hard look at yourself as the coaching staff and see what do you need to do, because I think you throughout these 10 games, you have a discipline problem. Your team is taking way too many penalties, way too often. They're inexcusable stick penalties, interference penalties. They're holding penalties that are just undisciplined and unnecessary penalties. So you've got a discipline problem. You've obviously got a focus problem, where your team's coming out flat in second and third periods, where your team's allowing 2-minute spans. The same kind of thing happened against Ottawa, right? When all of their 4 goals, it was a very short period of time, not quite as short as San Jose, but this is the type of these lapses. Like, what do you do as a coaching staff when you're going through these things that you haven't figured out how to stop the bleeding and you bleed out? And this is just that writ large, because you can't say this enough. It's the winless San Jose Sharks. Now, of course, they can't lose them all, right? They cannot lose them all, but it is embarrassing when you're the team to have them beat, especially when you're up 4-1 deep into the third period. That's just inexcusable. And back to work, right? Back to work on Wednesday. We've got Calgary coming in. Calgary is a much better team than San Jose. And we have to continue to remind ourselves, because it's the only coping mechanism I have, is remind yourself that this is still a 82-game season and we are only 10 games in. So we are okay. There's no need to send the team back to Arizona quite yet. But it is depressing and it's sad because the hype of that beginning, the first 4 games, the hype was so high, and this is now coming back to reality of where this team probably is, where they're going to be have stretches where it's going to be hit or miss, and that chase for 93 points is going to be stressful at times. And when you see slumps like this, especially this early, you start to wonder if that 93 points is actually possible. And that's when the doubt starts to creep in and you're saying, oh my gosh, are we headed for another 77 point, season on the outside looking in? We're going to finish 7th, 8th in the Central. Is the rebuild over? Are we still in the rebuild? What does that rebuild look like? And maybe that's the case still, right? We're playing Maverick Lamoureux, our rookie defenseman, he's obviously spent time in the AHL, but this is his first NHL games, and he's going to be a big part defensively. Obviously, we have Sean Durzi injured, and we did understate the impact of that injury, and now it can't be understated enough how important he is, or it can't be rather overstated how important he is defensively to the identity of this team, and perhaps also a spark of the offensive of nature with this slump. Was he that important to that? And it's hard to say because Kesselring stepped up. When Durzi went down, Kesselring stepped up, got himself a couple of goals, a couple of assists. He seemed to fill that role perfectly, but taking a few more penalties than we would like to see. Bortuzzo comes in. Bortuzzo plays another clean game. Didn't get a penalty. You love to see it, but we need to see more physicality out of those big veteran guys, right? Bortuzzo, McBain, Cole, they're the biggest guys on the ice, and they need to hit. They need to make their presence felt. The biggest hit of the game came from Dylan Guenther, right? That's not who you want to be delivering your biggest hits. So, but let's look ahead. Obviously, Calgary Flames come into town on Wednesday, and that's going to be a tough game. It could be a burgeoning rivalry if you're looking for storylines. The big storyline was Tisha Ginla is our draft pick. Now, Jerome Ginla played for the Calgary Flames. He's a Calgary Flames legend. They likely would have taken Tej had he fallen to them in the draft. And so you can manufacture a storyline there that there's some animosity. The fan bases, get nasty if you want to. But the big storyline right now is it's a slumping Utah team against a not so slumping Calgary Flames team. And we need to right the ship somehow. Please stop changing the lines. You've got it figured out now. Just stay consistent with them. At this point, we need some consistency. Stop switching out players unless unless you're going to make a switch out that's consistent. And I'm looking at that fourth line. I'm looking at the switch between Carcone, Kyler Yamamoto, Liam O'Brien. I'm talking about that rotation of all those guys. Like, come on, coach, stop it. Just pick your guy and go with it. Let your 19-man roster play a few games together, right? Let's build some momentum and try to have some stability now, because right now you've got absolute chaos. And I get it. I understand you're trying to shake things up, but that chaos is not what we want. And that chaos is now writ large in a 5-4 overtime loss to the San Jose Sharks. So let's hope that the Utah Hockey Club can right the ship. Let's hope that they can get back to their early season form and start to energize that crowd. I'm sorry for all of those who had to see that in the Delta Center, but these games are going to happen, and hopefully they don't happen all too often. But if they do, we're going to be there with you every step of the way. So sorry, fans, but once again, San Jose Sharks beat your Utah Hockey Club 5-4 in overtime. I guess Positive Polly says we got a point. So we're into the double digits in points, guys, but I'm not going to sleep any better knowing that. So pretty piss poor third period from the Utah Hockey Club, and they fall to the San Jose Sharks. Guys, thanks so much for tuning into the Two Line Pass post-game show, and we'll see you next time.